sidekick. Say, we gotta see you. Don't be hiding. Don't be hiding.
It's great to be in here with two of my favorite men in the community.
He's setting it up. Let's get that right. So get it. You know how to do it. I want you to.
We'll get it right here.
Okay. Now, my deal is about job. Then we're going to the commercial.
Okay.
My deal about job. I think he needs to be suspended for a year so he can get his life to save his life. I'm not trying to take. They can pay him, but he need a year to just step back. And his dad and them need to be rehabbed too. I think if it's me, I'm like, look, son, you go get killed playing with these guns.
Well, it's just depending on what else they have found. Like with the gun, okay, he hasn't shot anybody, he hasn't done any harm with anybody, but I understand that he's a role model, and when you're a role model, people look up to you, and you're an NBA star, and you don't have to do that. But he hasn't shot anybody. It just depends on what else they have done, whatever else they have dug up. And his past is checkered because he's done some stuff in Memphis, beating up little kids, his mom, his dad, and all this type of stuff. And his friends.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what else they have dug up on him. I think maybe until Christmas time.
Yeah, I mean, he need time to try to save his life.
Yeah.
You young dude, let's save his life.
Yeah.
Let's move him to Alaska or somewhere. Move you away. Get you out of that environment.
Well, I believe him being in Memphis, and Memphis, this time in Memphis, they're having a murder epidemic in that city right now. So him being in Memphis, not playing basketball, I think would be somewhat dangerous in my opinion. So to take basketball away from him, what are you gonna fill his time with at that point?
And that, and I agree with that. I'm just, how do you save his life? Because you're not going to let him continue to damage your brand.
Well, you've already stripped him from that money. So he don't have that money coming in. Like, resources are a little bit bad right now. And, one thing about it is, when you take a hit like that, a publicity hit like that, and people are looking at you now like you're the problem, and that's kind of embarrassment. And we'll see how he'll handle it and how he'll bounce back. Sometimes it doesn't just take one time for you to get it right. It probably takes a couple times. He's a young guy.
Yeah. And
like you say, he lives in a dangerous city, so if I'm in Memphis, I'm carrying a gun too. I'm not waving it around.
Yeah.
But I'm an athlete. I got plenty of money. I'm rolling with a gun too. But I'm not waving it.
Yeah.
And I think what Ja's issue is, he's trying to appeal to hood culture. And he wants to be a man on a $190 million contract and also be outside, as they say. And I don't think that's something that's possible. You can't be $100 millionaire and not be a target within the hood culture. And I understand why he would want to have a gun in nightclubs, in strip clubs, and all that, in maybe shady neighborhoods. But my question is, why does he, as a man who is on a $200 million contract, why does he feel the need to be in those environments?
Hey, let me say this. We'll have a commercial, and then we're gonna re-hit that because it's a good point. My deal is he needs to go back and see who killed Nipsey Hussle. One of Nipsey Hussle's boys that was jealous of him when he got him. Right. Hey, you listen to the barbershop. We got the Three Stooges up in here today, and we'll be right back because it's about to get Hilarious up here, education. We got the brainiac of sports himself. he knew the capital of South Carolina. How do you get to South Carolina? Do you get to North Carolina before you get?
It's the state above. It's the state above North Carolina.
All right, we'll be right back.
Also known as East Georgia.
East Georgia.
What's up, Rock?
What's up, man? Good to see you,
Yeah.
man.
Oh
The
yeah.
first place slave.
I need to be able to see y'all face because I'm gonna put y'all face.
Oh,
Because I put y'all on YouTube.
okay. No, but this is a great conversation right here, man.
I'm just like, man, look, sometimes you have to change.
Because this is
Trading to Sacramento or Portland, it won't have nothing to do.
see,
That's
now
worse.
see you.
That's worse.
Portland?
Oh, Portland ain't. The Sacramento, that's bad.
Hey, Utah.
Utah. Indiana.
Yeah, he can't stay in Memphis.
But even a trade to Toronto is dangerous for him.
Oh yeah,
Toronto
that's it. It's a tough city.
Well, he gonna have to make, and then his mama out there at foot action,
causing problems.
his daddy at the club.
But sometimes for a young guy, I tell you, like you said, you don't want that reputation where, like, man, we don't take his hood card. We take his hood card back from him,
Man, I'm telling you.
But at the same time, you gotta understand, man, that you live a whole different life now. Like, I was listening to somebody the other day, and it was I can't remember who it was, but.
Hey, you're listening to The Barbershop with Eenie, Meenie, Mighty, and Mo. Mr. C, Rocky, and Wayne on CBS Sports Radio Central Texas and on the Centex One app. Hey, you can download that app. Go to Google Play or the App Store and download that app. You can also go to the website, www.centexsports1. You can follow us on Twitter at #CentexSports1, and you can become a Tolo. Turn it on, leave it on. And all of our CBS Sports Radio Central Texas programming, we bring it to you all the way live up here at the Battery Joe Studio. Get the screen on your phone, replace the same day by calling them at 254-870-1270. Now we bringing it to you live, so we don't get a do-over. We not like Bo Schembechler's son. Slavery and Jim Crow made black folks stronger. He actually said that.
Well, those are the same kind of comments that, I don't know if you remember this guy back in the day, but Jimmy the Greek made some similar comments.
Yes, he did.
About that. It ended his career, and this was back in the 80s.
I remember that.
I remember I was a very young teenager back then. He just simply said slavery was the vehicle for which black people were bred to create these big, strong men were bred with big, strong women, and they created big, strong kids.
They didn't tell my mom and daddy that.
and he also said, Jimmy the Greek also said this. He says, hey, I know you guys are complaining about there's not many quarterbacks in the NFL. He said, but that's the only position we have. If you give them quarterback, they'll have everything.
I remember saying that.
Yeah.
He was drunk when he said it too. It's one thing about alcohol. Alcohol that's the truth serum. That's the truth serum. You sit around and drink, that's the truth serum. But what do you think? What do y'all think? Jai's your brother. You're his mentor. You got influence with
I
him.
heard an athlete say the other day that, he made a lot of money. I'm not gonna say the name. He made a lot of money, and he got his first big bag. And he said he went down to the park, and he said, he always wanted to fit in and say, well, man, he's coming back, he get into the hood and this, that, and other. He said one of his good friends pulled him to the side and said, man, what are you doing here? Like, this ain't your life no more. We know you from here. You rep us every day. Every time you go out on the football field, you rep us. But you don't belong here anymore. You don't belong here anymore. So, man, hey, we got you. Man, you our guy. but you don't belong here anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the same type of attitude and the same type of deal that needs to happen with John.
Oh yeah.
I want to interject a little bit, Walker, because you have an interesting experience as an athlete. You were a college athlete, you were a professional athlete, and a lot of people that grew up with you wanted to have that same experience, had the same dream that you had, right?
Yeah.
Is there a pressure to share that dream with people who weren't able to go and do and experience the things you were able to?
Well, at the same time, you got guys that's jealous.
Mm-hmm.
You got guys that want to take that away, they envy because they didn't do it and they had the same opportunity. You know, but you have to be able to distinguish between the two. You know, like I'm a good judge of people. That's why I hang around you two guys.
We got you fooled on.
That's why I hang around you two guys. But you have to be a good judge of character and know and distinguish that. You have to be able to distinguish what's good for you and what's bad. Because I made some bad choices too. When I first got out, I was spending money left and right. And it was on people that just wanted a part of it, but that just really don't give a damn about you, but they wanted to be a part of that and help you spend your money, and they wanted to go out with you and drink with you and do all this type of stuff. So you have to be able to grow up. You have to be able to distinguish between the two, and you got to know who's good for you and who's bad for you.
Let me ask you this. Why you looking at me when you saying that? You sweating all up like do I remind you?
Because man, I mean, that was a great question, and you know, like I said, I've been through it too. So, man, I mean, you just have to grow up at some point, and you know, you just have to distinguish what's good and what's bad.
And it's real. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just going to say, the issue that Ja is having, we hadn't seen a run like this of poor judgment since Pac-Man Jones. I mean, he's having, I mean, this is,
Yeah.
and let me also step back and say, hey, if Ja just becomes more responsible with the platform he has, he can be a reclamation project that can be a model for NBA players for generations.
Yeah.
But he also can be a tragedy. Because if he continues down this path with guns and violence and confrontations and all these things, forget the NBA career stuff, forget what it means for his basketball career. We know we've seen so many kids in our own community that will have fallen to the same thing that will happen to Ja if he continues down this road of embracing thug culture, violence, and just poor judgment.
And you said something that's golden. He could be a perfect reclamation project. It's just who do you put in that environment? I mean, you know.
Surround yourself with the right people.
I mean, but he obviously can't make that assessment,
Well,
and
but
his parents can't make that assessment.
His dad, especially, or his mom.
Now, you know who said something to him? Jalen Rose said he talked to him.
Yeah.
He said when the first time, he said, but he didn't do nothing. And Jalen Rose said this is what Jalen Rose said. You can Google that for those of you don't believe me. He said that he told Ja. So let me tell you, when you sign a big contract, he say, David Stearns called him in the office, and he say, you are going to this place. It's a high drug activity place. You hanging out at this place. He say he named every place he was going, and he say, they invested in you. They are invested, and they got a right to monitor their investment. And he say right then he realized the NBA eyes in every corner.
And they are, and they have the resources. That's why I'm saying that the NBA is going to get him help, because he is a talent on the court.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of the best 10 players in the NBA. So you don't want to take away from the brand. And so he's taking away from the brand by waving guns, but they're going to give him some help. They got all sorts of resources, so they're going to start surrounding him with better people. Believe that.
And now you said, I heard, I think it was, you might have said this one day at the barbershop. You can get so far with talent, but to really get to that next level, character. You got to have some character. The character that he is displaying right now. And hey, for you listeners, let me be the first one to say I'm praying for this young man to do the right thing. I hate his situation because we don't get that. That's man.
Hey, see, and one thing that's very surprising about this entire story is for him to have such a close relationship with his father and to have such poor judgment. Do you think that reflects? Of course, everything our kids do reflects on us somewhat, right? But he has a public, out front, close relationship with his father, and he's still showing this kind of judgment. Do you think it especially reflects on maybe the lack of influence, or maybe who's leading that relationship?
Well, if you think about Ja, let's just take it. To be that talented, he was better than all the kids at this age. His daddy put him in AAU, and you can see him rising up, and he's probably getting money and all of that. And now the boy is up here, the young man is up here. And so his daddy and them enjoying the fruit and not really bothering him. He got to father him, because let me tell you some things. My sons, all of them grown, all of them in their 40s. I ain't never had a drink of wine or beer, none of that around my kids. Is daddy going to the strip club with him? I'm just saying, I mean, I'm not saying it's against the law, but it's against the moral law. Don't go to the strip club with your son and you getting a lap dance and the boy mama, you know.
Yeah, you got the same medallion that your son has. But this guy comes from humble beginnings. Let me tell you why. Because he only had one major college scholarship, and that was McNary. He didn't go to North Carolina. He didn't go to Kansas. He wasn't recruited by those people. Mm-hmm. He was small and he was frail. So his start in the NBA and the things that happened to him to get there, he should be humble about those things and not just kind of go off the deep end, because he barely got there, and it was a great NCAA tournament that got him really noticed. And he was being noticed. It was a year before, but he was being noticed. But he had some very humble beginnings. I mean, he went to McNary, and to come out of McNary and to be a number one draft choice or a top 5 pick, and then you go and then you display your talent in the NBA and you become one of the best talents in there. Mm-hmm. Man, you should be thankful and use that as a blessing every day to say, hey, man, I got here and I'm gonna stay here, and I thank God every day for my blessing, for my gift. Not to dishonor that and say, I'm gonna wave guns, I'm gonna be a thug, I'm gonna beat up little kids, I'm gonna have my dad in the next booth with me at the strip club, and we both got that right there is just, I'm like, his daddy getting the lap dance, then you go home, that mama. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yeah.
His mama up there at the foot action, starting fights.
Right.
All that kind of stuff.
It leads you to believe that they don't really have a parent-son relation, a traditional parent-son relationship. They more or less exhibit the behavior of homeboys or big brother, little brother.
Right.
Like I say, and that's what bothers me, is that with your moral compass, the people that instill the values in you are your parents.
Yeah.
And if with the judgment that he's shown and the close relationship he has with his father, it's just inconsistent with what I think should be happening. But again, as you said it before, he has a chance to right the ship.
Yeah.
I think his dad and his mother have to be a part of whatever the process is, and it may require their part be some more distance between them.
Send them to Seattle. I mean, because I'm looking at. I always just revert back to who shot Nipsey Hussle. One of his boys got jealous of him and shot him. Now, you remember that Jaws, they had to outlaw some of the guys on his team because they trying to start a fight with the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah,
Then they out there shining lasers.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
red.
come on,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But well, Adam Silver yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw the
He said they got a lot of new stuff.
yeah.
That's
And so,
what it is.
and that reminds me of I saw Carmelo Anthony on the podcast once, and he simply said something similar to the story of Jason Rhodes. He said, David Stern told him, "I know what you doing in West Baltimore, and I know what your guys are doing in West Baltimore. And I suggest that if you want an NBA career, that you disassociate yourself from them young men and leave them alone or whatever." And he said Carmelo said he loved basketball so much that he wasn't gonna risk his NBA career. This was his dream, and he associated with them. And then later on, those guys would get arrested and get five charges. Whatever. He said that's when he realized the NBA was the feds. What he said.
Hey, you know what?
That's real. Or do it like LeBron do it. If you gonna bring your guys out, make them start doing, send them to school. Let's do a business.
But
together.
LeBron James is one of the rarest creatures ever made.
Right.
I mean, a young black dude, fatherless, him and his mama living in a car. And for him not to, I'm not going to say he ain't made no mistakes, but he been just as perfect as you can be. He sent a whole school district to college. All the stuff that he's done. I mean, and they still trying to run him down and all of this, but the dude's a billionaire.
Yeah.
You know, just would he listen to LeBron?
You know, his guy is Clutch Sports.
Yeah.
Okay. So he sent this guy to school, gets his degree. He represents him. Now he represents every rich client in the NBA and
Yeah.
the NFL.
They done cornered the
And-
market.
Yeah. And he has about 12 of his guys that he hung around that's his boys. They're all doing positive things and they work for him now. If you want to do something, if you want to hang around your boys, do something positive and let's do a business together. Let's do it that way.
You know, I think a lot, and this is just kind of off the subject a little bit, but I think the hate that LeBron has, they have for LeBron, is related to how he has built his business and his empire and who he built it with. See, LeBron built his empire with people that from his neighborhood
Yes.
who looked like him. He didn't go into the NBA just, connecting with the people who already had money, who already were in power. He created his own power structure with the people that he knew. And I think they will always resent that because, again, he made Rich Paul is probably now the most influential agent in professional sports. You know, Maverick Carter is one of the most influential people in Hollywood right now.
Right. They're doing movies.
Hey, this what they don't. This what LeBron can say. I did it my way.
Yeah, they got Bron Productions,
Oh, yeah. He Space Jam and all of that.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Now that I'm just gonna tell you this, cause I know me when I was that age, I wasn't a role model. I would not.
he was a thug.
I didn't say I wasn't no thug. I wasn't no thug. There you go. Everybody
You was a
saw was a
rogue.
thug. Things that we did was just a part of the neighborhood, the environment that we lived in. It wasn't unusual to break in a school
You was from
in the
South-
summertime.
You from South Oak Cliff.
It wasn't nothing wrong with that back in the day.
South Oak Cliff.
But I wasn't no thug. I wasn't no thug. Okay.
So what do you classify?
What I was finna say is this. You made me. First of all, Rocky, you called me a scrub. Because I wasn't in Dave Campbell football magazine. Because you was a scrub. Then now I'm a thug from. But I was saying.
Tyrone got you with that.
Well, some people, if I'm not gonna judge him because my mindset then ain't like it is now.
You're right.
And the key word is mature. So I hope things work out. So we're gonna talk about the basketball. We're gonna talk about your Lakers first. Are you a Laker fan?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about the Lakers. Is that all right? That door ain't like it's y'all on the snack. Okay, this is what I said. That Denver had a better team. A better team. I mean, they better team.
They had the best team in the NBA.
Exactly. Now, for the Lakers to come all the way from where they are to go to the finals. But do you re-sign Austin Reeves at any cost? And is it Hachimura?
Yes.
Because the Spurs talking about offering Austin Reeves $100 million. Spurs have targeted him. Is he good because he's with LeBron and AD and all the rest of them? Because sometimes the people be good when, you know, you like a fourth option.
Well, I was hoping that they could re-sign Austin Reeves. I think a fair price for a guy like Austin Reeves. You got to realize, let's be real. This is his second year in the NBA, right? He's not an established veteran, right? I agree. However, to C's point, how much of his success is predicated on him having 2 top 10 players on his team? And if he goes to any other team, he may not have that. Do you see him carrying the load for a team? And I just don't. I see him being a great complimentary player, but I don't see him carrying the load.
He's not going to carry the load. And the only reason Austin Reeves, he worked hard, but when you play with a Hall of Famer, one of the best players that ever played the game, and guys that's on that level, you can't do nothing but raise your game.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna demand it.
Okay, now.
They're gonna demand it.
Okay, he's a good player. Could he start for Denver?
No.
Could he start for Phoenix? Could
Yes.
he start who? He played the 2, right?
He can play the 3 though. He can play the 3.
He gonna beat out Durant.
He can play the 3, but Durant can play
He
the 1,
starts
the 2.
yeah.
He can play whatever. He can play whatever. But today in the NBA you have to have shooters. So
Yeah.
he's gonna play.
And he can shoot off the dribble.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. As good as Austin Reeves was, right? And I had to be honest about this after that series. I was brokenhearted that LeBron didn't get a chance to win his 5th championship.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is what I had to see. As good as Austin Reeves played, if he's your 3rd best player, then you're not good enough to beat a team like Denver, and you're lucky to beat a team like Golden State. If he's your 3rd best player.
But, you know, when you look at the Lakers, Kyrie, they need Kyrie Irving. Because Kyrie, Hollywood. And I would love for Dallas to trade him to the Lakers. And we go get Fred VanVleet and get Hachimura. Get us something we don't have. Because you put Kyrie there, he starts stuttering with them. You know, and he Hollywood. But Austin Reeves, by the same token, you got to be, as a Maverick fan, we didn't think Jalen Brunson was the man either, did we?
Exactly.
So,
That's the biggest
you
problem.
raise them. When you raise them, you might want to keep them.
Your draft picks and your guys that you, in your organization, that you draft, you have to keep those guys if they are successful. And that's the same thing with the Lakers. You have to keep Austin Reeves. This is one of your guys.
But okay, so let's look at the Jalen Brunson situation. When Dirk was out, Jalen Brunson was able to carry a series.
Won two games without him in the playoffs.
You talking about Luka?
No, without.
Yeah.
Austin Reeves hadn't shown the ability to do that.
No,
He hadn't shown the ability. So, like I say, anybody if the Spurs offer Austin Reeves $100 million,
he better get it.
Lakers can't even consider that. They can't even consider it. What I was hoping what would happen is Austin Reeves was trying a 2-year, $30 million contract, pay 10 this year, pay 20 years on the back, 20 million on the backside. That gives the Lakers to kind of retool their roster, let some contracts expire, figure out what they're going to do, let the salary cap increase, something like that.
That's what Mr. Ex-professional say. Just do a handshake agreement. Nobody trying to do that. You wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't have done no handshake. You go get your money.
But you have to realize Austin Reeves is a restricted free agent.
Yes.
No matter what he gets offered, the Lakers are going to have the opportunity to match.
So you do a handshake deal that nobody knows about. You say, hey, this is what we got coming out the books next year.
And if Austin, okay,
we're gonna sign you for 2 years, but we want you here in the long term. You're part of this franchise.
But Walk, I gotta agree see on this one, if at the end of the day, you dealing with $100 million, $100 million is $100
You gotta go
million.
get it.
Wait a minute. When you say do a handshake, we gonna keep our young talent. Kyle Kuzma and Ingram and all of them say, yeah, that's what they told us.
Yeah, they got rid of those guys way too early.
They got rid of them too early.
Especially Brandon Ingram, man.
Now, we're gonna end up with the series. It's just game one. Do you re-sign Jaylen Brown? Do you give him that super max?
Absolutely. I don't think Boston has any option in that regard. If you let him walk, right, your team gets worse the day he walks out of your locker room. And you are limited as what you can do to improve your roster. Now, again, Jaylen Brown, I don't personally believe that the combination of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is a championship duo, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the success they've had over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
They've been in the
He's
NBA
25
Finals
years
once.
old.
They've been in the conference championship 2 or 3 times. Like, that's a lot of success.
25 years old.
They young.
I think Jaylen Brown is like a young Paul
Don't say
George.
Michael Finley.
No. He's like a young Paul George.
But again, this is a guy that they drafted,
Yeah.
that they did the work on. They brought him in. They drafted. You have to keep those guys, and he's a top 25 player in the league.
I think the problem is me and you had this discussion and West Coast Toast. He kind of raked me over coals yesterday because I said Boston problem wasn't the players. They let their coach go because he had sex on the job with a woman. While we sitting up here talking, somebody having sex on the job with somebody other than their spouse.
Right.
That's something that happened. I said they should have just suspended him for 10 games, but they got rid of him. And so you gave the team to a guy that ain't never been a head coach before. You got a championship ready team. And he couldn't figure it out. By the time he figured out Miami, it was too late.
It was too late.
All they had to do was say, quit shooting threes. Throw the ball to Robert Williams.
He got out coached those first 2 games at home. That was a series. Once you lose those first 2 games at home, that's the series. You cannot. And you talking about you playing an 8 seed. You playing an 8 seed. Missoula got out coached.
Yeah. Well, you knew
I
he was.
always often talk about in game and next game preparation and getting and those adjustments. So you have to have in-game adjustments and you have to have game adjustments. And if you can't do those and you can't do that, then you're gonna get out coached.
I don't know a whole lot about basketball, right?
Uh-huh.
But I listened to a guy on the podcast talk about the breakdown of the Miami-Boston game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it became simple, just what you said, Steve. The Boston Celtics thought that they could shoot Miami out of that zone. And at some point when you're not making shots, you got to switch your approach. And they were never able to come up with anything other than keep shooting.
Now, when I watched them, it looked like they started playing one-on-one ball. One-on-one ball.
Well, if I miss 46 threes, you take 46 threes in a ball game. I heard Shaq say, if you miss 5 or 6 threes, the next time you take one, he said, I'm gonna go tell those guys, next time you take one, I'm gonna whoop your butt right out here on the court.
Now, we are getting crowded in here. We got all these Waco High. We got the Curtis Jones, the Waco High. Is Coach Tusa behind you? What's up, Curtis Jones?
Man, nothing much, man. Bless, man. What's going on?
Just say something to the listeners out there.
Oh, man, we got 2 of the greatest, They
What greatest what?
They the greatest football playing track starter. The BB. You know what I'm saying? These guys I looked up to, man. They helped me start as a sophomore.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you. You been doing all right?
I've been blessed,
Always good
man.
to see you, my brother.
Being blessed, man. Being blessed.
So-
Good to see y'all.
Let's see, man.
We got
Like that.
and this idea is at the barbershop. You know, the name of this show is the barbershop.
Yeah.
How many arguments we had at the barbershop?
We missing one thing at the barbershop. You used to have that big hammer sitting
The barbershop where sports show designed so you can walk in off the street, you're gonna get involved in the conversation. Especially when these folks don't know what they talking about.
right.
And some people up here, I ain't gonna call no name, don't know what they talking about. And I try to educate them on Wednesdays, but I say it's Wayne's World, you know, let him. But what about this series right now? I think it's gonna be a sweep. I think a sweep.
Yeah, I don't. If LeBron and AD couldn't win a game, I don't think Jimmy Butler and the Buckets can win a game either.
And it's just too much length on the court.
Come
It's
on,
too
we
much
can see,
length.
bro.
It's too much. It's too much. There's too much length on the court for Denver. They got everything that you need: a skilled team, well coached, and just a better team.
What's your view on that?
My view on that is, I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think they're going to pull one, at least one. Denver Nuggets they own something, man. They don't found, they got that big boy, it seems like every time he throw one up, it's going
He shoot the ball behind his neck.
Yeah, then they got the yellow boy, and he just shooting all over the place, man. They doing good, man, you know what I'm saying? Woo!
Hey, let me ask you this: you're a big time basketball fan, and you have long been a proponent of foreign players in the
I'm
NBA.
an MFFL, baby. Married fan for life.
Are we at the point where we have to relinquish the NBA to the foreign player now because they are dominating the league?
Well, I think when I look at it, you got Embiid, he's a foreigner. You got Luka. You got Joker, Giannis, Jamal Murray's from Canada. Who else we got?
Then you got that big boy that's coming.
Wembanyama. I don't think you got to. It's just they went on a mission to promote the NBA. They went to Africa and all these places, and now they playing out. They come here with the fundamentals. They ain't crossing over and all of that, but they making free throws.
Well,
They setting picks and they doing all of
sports
that.
always transcends,
Oh, yeah.
So once you give them that, and you got it. I mean, basketball is a world entity. It's a world sport.
Well, yeah, I just got a thought when you said that. Maybe y'all Lakers need to go to Serbia instead of going to New York City. Instead of getting Kyrie, go to Serbia or Russia.
Maybe. But sports transcends, man.
I just love the competitiveness of the NBA coach. NBA and college basketball, you didn't know who was gonna win. You couldn't have told me Denver was gonna be in the finals, especially after KD went where he went.
You know how many Africans is about 7 feet and 7'6" and all of that? I mean,
But I was getting tired of John Thompson, because John Thompson went over there to Africa. He went African crazy. He started getting all these scholarships to Africa. He had Yaya Jao, Boubacar, Al, and all that. Like, you starting 5 Africans in the inner city basket. You need to get some of these kids over here, But the NBA, I mean, it is what it is. Best players. You the best.
Well,
you the best. You want to play against the best.
Is it? And I'll point this out. Is the emergence of the foreign player? Is it in direct? Does it expose the failure of the AAU system we have in America, or is it just the development of the foreign player is just so much better than anything we have here in America? Like, is it a failure of the AAU system because the foreign players are taking over?
I think with the AAU, kids come in, you can pay money to get ranked in AAU. You know that, right? You pay money. You pay money, register your kid at Nike will rank them. Okay, so the AAU guys, they get ranked Like the boy just leaving Baylor. He's one and done. That dude ain't Big Mo no one and done player. What's his name?
Deontay.
Is he a one and done? What is he
But-
gonna
but
do
they
damage
base
in the
everything
league?
on-
But they hype Curtis. They hype them all up. They hype them all up. Where the
But they base it on potential.
well, I mean, I'm just saying they rank them guys. They
But-
rank
but-
the AAU guys up. Where them Europeans, they done played professional ball.
But you go to Canada, okay? I played football in Canada. So they would have a national school, so they would take the best basketball players from all over the country and they would put them in the school. They take the best hockey players from all over the country and they put them in the school, and it's a talent.
An academy.
It's an academy, and they put them in the school. We don't do that. We don't do that. We have AAU, and then when you have AAU, you have these guys. It's not little Curtis or me out there coaching them. There's guys that used to shoot marbles out there coaching. So our kids are really not learning, because these guys got this agenda that they ain't played and they ain't done nothing, so they want to put it on their kids.
Now, I mean, even with let's say sports in general, even like with football, I didn't send my boys when they play football. Well, who's the coach over there? No, you got to go somewhere. Somebody play football.
Yeah, somebody knows
Who's your person? My granddaughter got a personal trainer basketball. Who's your personal trainer? Oh no, baby, you wasting your time. No, you're not. I can hoop him out.
Right.
We gonna pay for a trainer. I want to see a trainer. I want somebody that know. And I'm like, you got kids like basketball. You know what? One of these coaches had, and Kevin Gill said this. This dude had these kids running cones. He say, if you want to be good at basketball, you got to play basketball.
You gotta play, you gotta shoot.
And I think in the summer leagues, I coached Conley's summer league team, high school, back in the 90s. And the coach be on the sideline, he looking. And I said, I'm going to tell you this, you can look at your coach all you want. We playing man-on-man defense, so you can work on your man defense. And if you beat him off the dribble, we working on individual talent. That's what we need to work on.
I think because we don't have the academy system that Walker brought up, we have to depend on athletic ability. See, the academy system is about developing skill sets.
Yeah.
It's not about individual talent. And so, because the education system really controls our athletes' participation in sports, right?
UIL.
Yeah. Our coaches don't have the time to really develop kids, I think, the way that foreign players are developed. To Walker's point, they go into academies at 12, 13, 14 years old, where half of their day is about developing their individual skills.
Luka Doncic was 14 playing for the national team.
That's-
He brought something with him when he got here.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's in figure skating, that's in gymnastics, that's in everything that they do in the Olympics or have a skill set in. And that's what they do. But we're not on that level yet. Like I said, we depend on our AAU systems and they flawed a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think the AAU systems are a spin-off from our educational athletic systems, where athletic ability is the most important aspect of it, not skill development. I think football is always going to be athletic ability, because I think the nature of how the sport is played by big, strong, fast, athletic guys. So the skill that is used in football is for the quarterback, wide receivers, running backs, those guys. In basketball, I think it's much more important that a guy be skilled than he be athletically gifted, now that I'm watching these foreign players.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, me and Rocky coached a team at the YMCA, a football team, right? They gave us every player that gets signed up that nobody else wanted these kids. Nobody wanted these kids. But I'm proud to say we was teaching our kids the right things. Teaching them how to line up, teaching them how to game, goals. We was teaching something. And about 3 or 4 of those players went on to high school and were stars in high school. Those guys that we took that nobody wanted.
Steve and Tim and all those guys.
Yeah. And little Mike Hicks.
Yeah. And well, I think, again, I was a youth coach, Walker, you was a youth coach, and you were also a youth coach. I coached my sons, true enough, true enough. But at the end of the day, when I was coaching with Walker, I didn't have a kid on the field. And I think you probably didn't have a kid on that college team that
No,
you
my kids
coached.
that graduated.
Yeah,
Me-
and so
me-
I think the coaches now are, a lot of the parents are playing what I like to call affectionately known as daddy ball.
Well, and you absolutely right, because when I was coaching in them leagues, I'm gonna make sure my sons, you know, y'all go shoot the ball. I'm not gonna bench you, you know, because I think I was gonna give them every benefit of the doubt, you know, and I think that's what a father should do. And so you did it. We all did that.
We did that.
You know, okay, Wayne might be better, but Wayne, I gotta face the boy mama when I get to the house. You know, but I think one thing, I'll never forget my first year of coaching basketball. I coached over there at Bledsoe, and I got Darrell and Kwame and all them kids that sleep at the house, and they all, you know, I'm coaching them, whereas you had all the Waco All-Stars, I won't call them no name, all their kids, and they said that whichever team win, they get to go to the championship. Okay, my boys couldn't do nothing but foul folk, and they played, we won it. And then they start changing, so we go set a team. We not go sign, you know, we go set a team. But your son can play. And I'm like, no, that ain't what the deal was. So I ended up working for the light company. They paid for us to go and all of that. But by the same token, is the fact that I did like y'all, you know, when they little, I'm like, you need to make your free throws. You need to make that, you need to dribble with your left hand, those basics. Whereas some of those other coaches with the All-Stars, all they want to do is win.
And I know this, and I'll let this speak in a minute, Walker, is that I know that developing skills, I used to think for a long time that athletic ability was the most important aspect in sports. But individual development, player development is the most. And the only way you get player development is being with a competent coach. And for whatever reason, in high school and in these AAU systems, and now even in youth sports, there's not many competent coaches that come out and participate. And that's so unfortunate because I remember when I was growing up, whether it be Mr. Miller, Mr. Billups, Mr. McDaniel, all these guys were not only good men, good examples, they were also good coaches and taught us the fundamentals as well.
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know the fundamentals of the game, and that's the most important part.
Now,
You can't proceed forward if you don't know the fundamentals.
But I will say that now we do have some good AAU.
Oh, we do.
You know, I like what Cleo and them
I
doing,
like what Southern Panther
and I like what Johnny Berry and them doing. They actually have just literally made it my business. This is what I do, and they feed folks. So they have opened up a whole. You know, we care about you. Come over here. We getting you out the street, and that's important too. And the thing about it is the support system to be an athlete got to be different because. You know, I was a scrub. I wasn't Wayne Walker, so I had to work at McDonald's in the summertime. I couldn't just work out. And that's why I wasn't as good as you. I had to work on a job to pay for my car.
No, I didn't
You
have
didn't
an
work.
AAU program.
You didn't work on no job. My dad said, what you doing? You better get up, get out.
I worked at Waco Tennis Center. And the only thing that I did in summer was run track and I played baseball. So it wasn't football. It wasn't all of that, and I didn't get to do it year round like they get to play basketball year round. And now today they get to play football. I didn't have 7-on-7. I didn't have the advantage of any of that.
Walker, let's be honest, Walker. The reason why you made it in high school, college, and played over a dozen years professional is because you had one elite trait. One elite trait. And that trait, let me tell you a quick little story.
Tell me the truth about him. I be hearing all this.
No, this is the joke. So you know, Walker, I knew him as my friend and just watching him play sports, and I always knew he was from Waco, so I'm always going to cheer for the Waco guy or whatever. But this is a testament to what kind of athlete, what kind of speed he possessed. In 1987, what were you, a sophomore in college then?
Yeah,
He's a sophomore in college. He's played a season of football, and he the NCAA the indoor Southwest Conference Championship is probably what, a week away, 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
The track coach at Texas Tech asked him to come out and say, "Hey, we need you to run the track meet. We may need you for the Southwest Conference track meet. I need you to run this warm-up track meet, and I need you to run it. See can you do anything in the conference meet." This guy not only goes out and competes, but this guy plays second in the conference after running only one warm-up meet and had the third fastest time in the world. Go look it up. You can look at 1987.
He don't know that. He don't know that. I don't know that.
Listen.
And so when you talk about all that hard work and determination and all that, God gave him electric speed that he could turn on and turn off whenever he wanted to, and that's why he was able to.
Now let me ask you a question. Did y'all have a meeting before you came on the show?
No.
So you had talked to him?
That's
I don't want to hear nothing about him.
No,
that's the
Get
truth.
tired.
But I'm not. No,
You can look that up and look all of that. See?
so what I'm saying, he was an NFL wide receiver, not because he had great hands, great jumping ability.
But there you go. How many players that didn't possess that? Because I think speed ain't something you ain't gonna get past.
No, you don't.
I think you
have it or you don't.
Say I run a 4.7. I don't think there's nothing I can do to run a 4.4.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think you can get faster. I think that's like you said. I think that's a God given. I don't think you can get taller. I've been trying.
Yeah.
I would have been a baller if I could have got a little taller. But I just think when God bless you with these athletic abilities and these elite capabilities, I think you got to maximize.
So, and this is what I say. This is. I want people to understand when they out there talking about what speed is and all this. You can understand. It's more guys in the world that's 7 feet tall that can run a 4.24. Listen to what I'm saying. It's more guys that are 7 feet tall in the world than there are guys who can actually run a legitimate 4.24.
You go buy him. You go buy him a beer on the way home or something. You go buy him a beer. What you gonna do for it?
But I have run a 4.24.
But you know what?
Several times.
I will say this. I watch you play at Texas Tech. I watched you burn Deion Sanders. You gotta say nothing else. I did when Deion couldn't catch you. I say when Deion Sanders can't catch you in college, you was a bad. Shut your mouth. But you know what? The thing that I appreciate about Wayne is that he maximized his ability. He maximized and did the things that he needed to do to be able to do that, because at soccer, man, we had some. Dennis Rodman couldn't even make the basketball team at soccer.
Yeah.
We had athletes everywhere. You can go out there on that outdoor court and you were seeing Clyde Drexlers and folk. They thugs. They didn't want to do nothing. So there's a lot of people had those skills and they didn't maximize it.
But to Walker's credit though, man, I learned more about football from Walker than I think anybody else. We played. There were years and years where we played Madden against each other. Yeah. And he taught me more about football than anybody else. And it made me appreciate how much the mental part of the game, him just being fast, didn't get him the opportunity. Well, him being fast got him the opportunity, but him being a student of the game in football, right away. I watched so many games with him, like he could tell when the play's coming, he could tell what defense they're in. Like, those are the kind of things that I think are often overlooked when you see a guy's success in sports, of how bright they are and how well they are schooled in their particular sport, man. And I want to give you a credit. You're not only a super fast dude, but you actually know the game, bro.
Now, I want to say this. Curtis just left, and you guys played for Coach Tusa. And one thing that you hear everybody say, Tusa this, Tusa that. I'm like, this dude put a whole lot of folk in college. Whole lot of super athletes come through Waco under that administration. And the thing about it is the fact that, there it is right there. The thing about it is, when you look at all the players that come from, and we trying to get Coach Tusa to come up here,
I'm gonna get Coach Tusa to come up.
because you guys have represented Waco High at its peak and prime. Now, I don't know what Waco High is doing right now. What is it? Lack of athletes or?
Well, I think it's a one thing I can say. Let's talk about Coach Tusa, right? Coach Tusa was in my opinion, a great high school coach.
Yeah.
Now he didn't do everything great, and he was not great at everything, but he was great at maintaining discipline, and he was great at preparation. And so what you knew when you were going to play at Waco High is that you were going to be able to go to practice, you were going to be able to train, and it wasn't a such thing as missing practice or not or any of that stuff. So the dedication that each and every player that had to the program, it was mandatory, or you were going to be on that bench.
Now, one thing that everybody said about Waco High was that they off season. That off season, that off season got you. That off season they made you work and all of that. And I argue with a lot of different people who said we should have won several state championships and all of that. But I'm like, when I moved down here, you actually beat by better all around teams. You know, Longview was better, John Tyler was better, Westlake was better. Midland, you know, it was some. I mean, back then it was some powerhouse teams, and but I just get tired of what I hear in Waco since I've been in Waco. When La Vega wasn't winning, it's box ball. Everybody in Waco blamed the coach. It as if the coach fumbled the ball. I was at the state championship game when La Vega played Prosper in Texas Stadium. The next day at the barbershop, Box should have. I'm like, dude, the quarterback threw 3 interceptions, the running back fumbled twice on the goal line. How's it the coach's fault? Right. But it's that mentality that just make you sick in the stomach.
I think the coaches are often used as, you know, this even in pro sports. The coaches are often used as scapegoats. And I think, you know, at Waco High, man, we had a lot of talent. We also had a great youth football, youth sports programs in the city when I was growing up.
Oh yeah.
And then not only did we all compete against one another, when we got to high school, we were able to play together.
Yeah,
so we all knew we were all developed, and we kind of all knew how to play the game. And then Coach Tusa took that talent and developed it even further to create scholarships and careers for a lot of guys. Man, the contribution that Coach T made to our community is immeasurable, and I know that he gets mixed reviews in our community, and people can say what they want to. But this is what I can say: he not only when I was a player, he wasn't a fan. I wasn't a big fan of his, you know, and often we found ourselves at odds. But at the end of the day, he wanted me to be a man, and you know how that process of going from a boy to a man can be very uncomfortable at times. And he definitely, if you're not disciplined, if you don't want to listen, if you won't do the right thing, he gonna make it very uncomfortable for you. And I found myself in that situation a lot of times, and he had no problem correcting me or my teammates or any of the other coaches had any problem doing that as well, because they were very demanding. And are you gonna tell them about the blocking story?
So I'm gonna tell you a story about Coach Tusa. When I was in school, I think it's my junior year, and so, you know, I'm the man. I'm the man on the football team. So they tell me I gotta go hit the blocking sled. I'm like, no, I'm not hitting the blocking sled. Now today I'm not hitting the blocking sled. I don't want to hit the blocking sled. I don't block, I just run touchdown. So he said, so that's what Coach Tusa tells me. He said, so if you don't hit the blocking sled, you just need to go home. I said, okay, well, here's your help, here's your pass, and I went home. Okay? And so Jefferson Moore is right on the river at the time. So I walk home, they not gonna even let me take the bus home. Okay, I walk to the house. I'm gonna walk to Parkside, which is the hood projects. I'm walking there. By the time I got there, he was there. Well, it was Coach Graves and him. They were both there. And they say, so Wayne, you know you're our best player, and but still, it's something to come with that. It's a little discipline. I can't just, ask somebody else to do something and not ask you to do it. But we need to show this football team guys look up to you. And I wasn't gonna ask you to hit that sled today, but and I asked you to hit that sled today, but we need you on this football team. And Coach Granger was just like this. He had his hands folded up, and he was like, Wayne, please come back to the football team.
Let's put it in its proper context. The reason why Wayne didn't want to hit the sled, Coach Granger told me the story, is because Wayne actually had a regional track meet that same weekend.
Well, we getting ready to close, but can I tell a story about me and my coach?
Yeah.
Okay, at our 25-year reunion, I went up to our coach. He could hardly move around, everybody taking pictures, and I said, you could have been the greatest coach in the history of Texas high school football. I said, you could have been there. They could have had a statue of you outside the school, but you didn't know how to position players in the right positions. I said, if you let me be a quarterback, running back, and you let me touch the ball, you just threw me out there, I would have took you to some state championships. And you know that. You know what he said? He said, first of all, let me tell you, he cussed it too. He said, let me tell you this. The only reason why he was on the team, because me and your daddy went to Prairie View together. Me and Rock used to get drunk all the time. If it wasn't for Rock, you wouldn't even made the team. You were the worst thing. I would have won a couple of championships if I'd have cut you. Well, hey, look, man. I want to appreciate you, Rocky. You got to come back, man. Definitely, because now we get the truth out of Mr. Walker, because Mr. Walker, he's just a difficult cat to deal with sometimes. And, but he's an humble guy, and I will say this. Superstar athletically, but I beat him in basketball one-on-one. I posted him up and roasted him and beat him.
Hey, I came here with the intentions of telling the story about how we met. See, we had to say that for next time.
Go ahead and tell the story.
but I'll make it short. I was working at the Y part-time after I got out of the military, and we had church league basketball. And we had some problems with some players in the league, and we had called their pastors to get them straightened out. So this one particular game, we were having trouble with this one guy. He was causing all kind of heck. And I go to Walker and I go to Keith Kimball and I say, man, make sure we call that guy's pastor as soon as this game is over. And they just bust out laughing and they said, he is the pastor.
Well, okay, that's your story. You gonna stick to it. But y'all play a little different down here. Y'all want to hit folk and don't call fouls on your buddies and all of that.
Oh, no.
You the referee, you cheating for your friends and all of that. Somebody had to make sure that the truth came out. But want to appreciate you. Thank y'all for listening today. And now we're getting ready for the